One of the major sort of problems and criticisms that I think filmmakers sometimes encounter is whether or not you're making the film for yourself or whether or not you're making it for the audience. And there's always that strange mix between film as business and film as art, and the relationship between the two of them. And I think a lot of people certainly theoretically argue, well, because of the way that film is sort of produced en masse with sort of factory production lines with large crews, that it couldn't possibly be an art form. Well, it may be in a mass cultural sense, but it's just really for consumption as opposed to sort of consideration, and it doesn't have the authenticity of sort of folk traditions and art where people can express themselves without rules and without principles and without those sort of factory methods. So that's always been a fascinating element within film studies, or anyway, but that I've obviously found it fascinating too. But that I'm really interested in seeing the way that the challenges that we have as filmmakers to engage with audiences, and this idea that I really believe now in a participatory audience experience, so that you're actually engaging with them as opposed to it just being one way and an audience that has to consume something. That yes, an audience can be passive if they choose, but that there is also the opportunity to be sort of participatory. And obviously social media has brought a lot more of this around, and it's becoming quite fashionable, and this transmedia and all these wonderful terms to do with participatory methods, but I'm not necessarily sure that the filmmakers are really engaging with it. That really it's sort of something that people may be sort of tapping into because of its potential for funding, or that the potential for it being commercial, or the feeling that you need to have it, but that aren't necessarily interweaving it with the storylines and the films in which they're making, and the ways in which the audience can connect with it, which I think is the sort of the difference between just consuming cinema and it being just a product for you to kind of watch and that's it, and it being art and something you can kind of perhaps engage with and interpret in different ways. So it's a really awesome opportunity to be able to have a go at doing something which you'd never really get an opportunity to explore on sort of bigger projects, just because of the fact that so much more money and risk is attached to it. Whereas when you've kind of got the freedom to do something like this, you can sort of run away with it without having to worry about pleasing him or her upstairs. So that's going to be a major part of the whole project, is trying to see the ways in which we can work on it together as an audience and as makers and creators, as opposed to it just being me disappearing up my own arse and then hoping that you'll find the time to watch it. That's the plan.